Assalamu alaikum viewers, my name is Malik Tipu Sultan Aman and you are watching ZMC TV Political Updates. Viewers, as you know that we have been bringing these political updates time and again to keep you updated with the current situation, what's going on, especially on Kashmir. Kashmir has been a core issue between India and Pakistan for a long period of time, and there have been some long struggles that have been taking place. Today, we have a very special guest with us. She is a human rights campaigner. She has been actively taking parts in lots of demonstration and events that has been organized by different organization and by herself to give the indication or to give the awareness to the people or general community in the UK about the Kashmir issue. And I will like to introduce you to Miss Naila Khan. Naila Khan, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for inviting me here today.
No problem. Thank you so much. I can understand that it's a tough time. We have been awake since morning and it's a long day.
It has been,
And
yes.
things are very pretty tough. But without delaying any further in our program, I would like to ask you a few brief questions about the Kashmir issue because you have been taking parts in different demonstration and in events. So if you can briefly for our audience explain in a few words what do you feel about Kashmir issue right now? What's happening in the Kashmir issue now, in especially in UK?
Okay, in the UK, I mean, I've been playing an active role over the last few months regards to the curfew that was imposed on the 5th of August. So I'm looking to get this awareness exercise across worldwide, really. Most recently, there's been a meeting in Parliament, a Kashmir conference,
Okay.
which took place. It was hosted by Jess Phillips, MP, Right Honourable MP from Yardley in Birmingham here. And she hosted the event, and I think there was a lot of high-profile speakers that attended that day, such as Shesta. She was a member of Kashmir citizen from the country, and she had a member of family members living there, and she did that kind of highlight the issues affecting the people, especially the women, and the torture and the situation that they've been tolerating for the last few months since the curfew was imposed, and also the mention of the blackouts and the lack of communication there. But I think generally speaking, I mean, there hasn't been much change really since it was imposed. It's been, 78 days since it's happened, and there hasn't been that much reaction on the international community. There have been several meetings, debates, various delegates, dignitaries attending from different countries, more so, namely Kashmir, with President Masood Khan visited in the last week and frequently. But there's not been much outcome yet or much result. What I'm looking to appeal to is for some kind of practical support for the Kashmiri citizens in some form of foreign aid, some development, some donations.
I'm gonna ask you about this in
Yes.
detail as well. Yeah.
No
So
problem. Thank you.
at the
Go
minute,
ahead.
are you making any plans that with your friends or colleagues or human rights campaigner who wants to go in India and specifically go to Jammu and Kashmir to see the actual what's happening there? Because as far as I know, the India is not allowing anybody to go and visit the Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir part. Have you had any efforts or anybody you have spoken to? They have given you indication that would you be able to, or any other human rights activists who can actually go there?
From what we know is there's not been any access rights because obviously there's a line of control there. We can't pass that because obviously on the India side it's very risky for us to enter that territory, and also it's very high chance risk that you could be captured there by the Indian army. So there's no positive signs for us to actually enter that area at the moment, that region, because
Okay.
it's hostile. Because obviously with active the army there. Having hold of the country. So I don't think that's a possibility, but there's possibly a chance of entering prior to the line of control, maybe just before that. We can maybe get some more awareness there. But what we'd like to do is get some kind of human rights organisations such as Oxfam or Islamic Relief, any organisation like that, to have some kind of access point there, so they can deliver some medical supplies, food supplies to the people in need at the moment, because it just seems to be like not much reaction. There's a lot of talk, debates going on, United Nations, in the UK Parliament, with the public in general, citizens, but not much action following on from that.
So from your point of view, as I can see, of course, you have been telling me before our program that you have actively participated in many programs. So visiting all those programs, participating in all those programs, do you really think is it making any difference, or in future, is there be any chances that organizing these events would help the Kashmiri actually in India occupied Kashmir?
I think that by organising this continual frequent activities, it's not just a waste of resources. What we're looking to do is highlight the issue and put more pressure on, because we're looking to actually hold protests, peaceful protests, so whether we can get more reaction. And there's tens of thousands of people now we're engaging with, and this is UK-wide, from every city now. And even people who weren't really aware of what's happening, from the non-Asian side of things, even they're getting engaged now. They want to know what's happening, what can they do to help. Any kind of appeals, the appeals process has started now, to see if there's any fundraising they can do. But I mean, we can't just sit back and do nothing and be silent. I mean, obviously it's been mentioned in Parliament that that the peace, they said they have like a charter that's been set up, the United Nations Charter, but they're not doing anything further. There's no comment, there's no reaction. The Shadow Foreign Secretary even highlighted that in the last parliamentary meeting. She said there was no comment made when we spoke to the Select Committee. So I think we're looking for more pressure. And the fact is the current protest, the protest prevailing, which will be the 27th of October, it coincides with Diwali.
Okay.
This could be controversial, but time will actually, yes. So that's coinciding on that day. So far, that's my
so
opinion.
one thing, as I can understand from UK government and the Brexit issues, Brexit, the government is basically, I think so, engaged mainly in Brexit issues here in UK. And at the same time, we basically, especially as a human rights campaigner, your effort, do you think that can supersede their activity? They can highlight the Kashmir issue more efficiently to the people who are in the UK, who are in the parliament, who can actively say something which will be in the long run good for, or who can basically make some difference? Because at the minute, government, I don't think so UK government taking any steps for the Kashmiri people.
That's correct. They're not taking steps because the overriding issue at the moment, which is priority, is Brexit, because that's imminent. It was due to happen on the 31st of October. So the focus of the government is on Brexit, that's correct. And this kind of issue has kind of been like sidelined for the time being, or we'll say parked until they resolve the Brexit issue.
And then,
yes, and
then you think so after the Brexit they will have probably give more attention towards the Kashmir issue as well from UK government side. What about your views on UNO? Have you tried to approach, or your other colleagues, human rights campaigners, tried to approach UNO regarding the issue of Kashmir?
Sorry, would you repeat that approach?
I mean, your effort, of course, you are making your efforts here in the country, organize event, create an awareness in not only in Kashmiri community, but to all communities, whether they are white, black, Asian, or any community. Your purpose is basically to make people aware of what's happening in the Kashmir. So in the same time saying, are you or your friends or your colleagues are doing anything to raise this issue in UNO, United Nations Assembly, in that situation? Are you in connection with them doing any efforts for the United Nations as well?
Well, yes. I mean, it has been discussed very recently. There's a potential protest might be taking place in the border of between France and Switzerland, Geneva, in the border. There's been discussion of that happening of some time over the next few weeks,
Okay.
to put more pressure on, because obviously Geneva is where the Human Rights Convention is set up.
Okay.
So that's something might bring more, highlight the issue further.
Okay.
Up
And
it
secondly,
ahead.
before we quickly
Yeah.
finish your this interview, what do you think about Imran Khan's speech in United Nations? Was it uh, something that made any difference in, from your point of view? Do you see any change in the UK community people? Was there a awareness before his speech, or there was people who knew the Kashmir issue, and after this speech they realize what's going on, or there's no difference basically?
I think the speech that Imran Khan delivered United Nations, very powerful speech. I think because he resonates with a lot of people, especially obviously he's an ex-cricketer, so he had that global appeal anyway. But since obviously when he delivered that speech, I think he kind of translated it across to all different types of demographics. So I think appealed to even the younger, the youth. And I think the future is the youth as well, the future engaging with younger people to get them on board with politics. A lot of the times they're not really interested in politics, but I think Imran Khan appeals to everyone and to all age groups, and I think he did deliver a very good speech. And I think even people who weren't aware of the Kashmir issue did become aware, because that speech was delivered, that was on every website, every newspaper, front pages of magazines, bulletins. It was mentioned he was Person of the Year, and he just really turned everything around. And I think even he won the support, won the hearts and minds of a lot of people worldwide, I would say. I wouldn't just say just in the UK, because every country, his interview, even snapshots of his interview, everyone has heard it, and everyone knows who Imran Khan is now. If they didn't know who he was before, they thought, oh, he was an ex-cricketer, not sure who he is now. But now, they obviously, they know that he's taken on board. He didn't have to, but he obviously taken the Kashmir issue on board now as well. He's not leaving it quietly. He's trying to put more pressure on the United Nations to say we need to do something now. We do need to unite, and we need to become a united force in order to resolve the issue and get a peace process going on as well.
Okay, thank you.
And that's the future.
And finally, as we all know, there has been a gross human right violation in Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. What would you like to say to the people or audience? What should they do to help you or assist you in any way?
I think they should speak to the councillors, they should speak to anyone in the constituencies to get some more feedback, to explain to them they're not happy about this, and vote with their feet and make their voices heard. Because sitting back at home and just shouting at the TV or to your next door neighbour is not going to achieve anything. But if you do actually become unified in a group, you do actually make an appointment with your constituency MP or anybody in the local community you think who can lead on this, have that discussion point, attend the surgeries, and highlight the fact that you want this to be addressed. And in a group effort, I think this issue can get resolved, and we can bring maximum impact.
No, thank you so much.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Viewers, as we discuss in this issue of Kashmir, not now, even before as well, we have been bringing this issue every week, now and again. The purpose of this interview is basically that you should be aware of what's going on. Like Naila Khan, she is a human rights campaigner. She has been doing this work not now, for a long time ago, since years and years she has been working for this cause. Similarly, the purpose of these small shows, activities, are that you should be aware of what's going on all around in this world, especially in Kashmir, because Kashmir at the minute is a core issue between India and Pakistan, especially not for India and Pakistan. The people of Kashmir are suffering day in and day out. So our appeal to UNO, United Nations, and all the people around the world, that they should at least highlight the gross violation taking place in Kashmir, in occupied Kashmir, India, and try and do their best, whatever they can do. Even sharing one post which is highlighting the brutality of Indian in occupied Kashmir, that will be an awareness to every individual, whoever they are, because this is an age of media, social media. The purpose of bringing all this on social media is so people should be aware of what's going on, because these are two nuclear countries. We cannot let this happen. We cannot let people decide their fate, mean people or government who are basically working on corporate basis. If somebody is, or some government, anybody, any government who working on the corporate mindset will never be able to understand human right. So our request to everybody who's watching this program, especially as Naila said, our campaign is that we should bring the awareness to the this community and everybody around the country and around the world. And I will once again say thank you, Naila Khan, for joining us in ZMC TV. And with this, we'll take that's it. Thank you, Allah
I just
Hafiz.
want to mention one point. That to say to everybody that every Kashmir life matters.
Yeah.
I just want to mention that point.
And that's true. As Nala mentioned, that every life matters. So
Every
it's not whether
Kashmir,
one or two or 100. Every life matter from us. Thank you so much, and bye.